Welcome, listeners, to the latest episode of Changepreneurs. We are a team of coaches and professionals bringing you conversations with people who make real difference in lives of others. My name is Shrish. I'm a life coach. Co-hosting this episode with me is Sunil, who is an engineer by education, life coach by profession, and a poet and a storyteller at heart. Sunil has a deep understanding of human emotions, a strong presence of mind, and sharp wit. Today's episode is special for many reasons. First, we are introducing our newest member, Priyanka Gaigole, the first professional in our team of coaches and changemaker in her own right. Second, for the first time, we are hosting a couple, Priyanka and Suchak, who have embraced minimalistic lifestyle and in doing so, set an inspiring example of relationship goals in a world where many relationships are becoming transactional. Let us begin by introducing Priyanka, as Suchak will be joining us a little later. Priyanka is the global head of marketing at Tech Mahindra and currently pursuing doctorate in business management, specializing in marketing. She is recognized as an innovative marketeer and a brand builder. Also gained acclaim for co-founding a successful restaurant with Suchak. Beyond her corporate career, she is an avid bird watcher, an amateur cartoonist, and a strong advocate of minimalism. In her free time, she dedicates herself to helping neighborhood children, and last but not the least, is an accomplished homemaker. So I'm curious, Priyanka, how do you manage to balance so many roles at once?
First of all, thanks, Shirish and Sunil. And thanks for the introduction, Shirish. I think I would have to give it to my childhood, right? I have seen, I've been raised by my single mother. I've seen her playing multiple roles, to ensure that my education is taken care of, house is running smoothly, taking care of her parents, also, attending the social gatherings wherever it was needed, right? So I think the inspiration comes from there. Not only that, I feel, and especially after meeting Suchak, right, some of my processes have changed. We both believe that anything that comes to your mind or heart, right, you should just, pursue it. You have just got one lifetime and there is so much to do. So possibilities are two, right? Either you will succeed or either you will learn out of it. So that was my entire, I would say, a logic or an inspiration to try so many different things. So this is how I've started, and I think one lifetime is not enough for us to learn and achieve the various goals that keeps coming on the way, right?
So one lifetime is not enough. So how many would you need?
I don't know that. Probably on the other side, I'll understand. But yeah, I feel that one lifetime is uh, definitely not enough to achieve so many things that are there to pursue, to learn, to look after. Uh, yeah, so I don't have an answer at the moment about this, like how many times are required. But this lifetime is definitely not enough, is what I can say.
Wow, very interesting. So you spent 18 years in the sector, continue to work in that sector, and like
Hmm.
Shrish said, you're possibly the professional in the gang. So
Yeah,
uh, welcome to the Changepreneurs again, once again. Right. So
thank you.
that amateur cartoonist part was something that really caught my attention. So and you said one lifetime is not enough. So tell me, what have you been doing? How did that start?
Sure. So this journey actually started in the place where I'm currently living. It's a small remote village called Kodavade in Dapoli. It so happened that we were staying in a temporary house before we moved here, and I decided to draw some Varli paintings on the wall, right? Since childhood, I was, intrigued with drawing some rangolis and all of that, right? At the same time, interestingly, I was never interested in drawing. I, in fact, failed, in standard 8th. Standard 8th or 5th, I don't recollect. There were passing marks for drawing class, a drawing subject, right? And I failed in that miserably. And our teacher then used to beat students like crazily. He had this stick in his hand every time and he used to beat students who were not good in drawing. And I remember, getting beaten by him as well. But having said that, somehow, during my childhood, I was interested to draw rangolis. And when as I was saying, like in this mud house, I decided to draw some varli, right? Painting on the walls. And while I was doing that, one thought just popped in my head. Why don't I do Varley cartoons? Believe me, this just came out of nowhere. There was no thought process behind it. Out of nowhere, I said, okay, I might as well draw Varley cartoons on the wall. So I decided to Google it, right? I wanted to know if there is anybody who has done Varley cartoons before. And to my shock or surprise, you can say, I found one guy in Pune. Okay, his name is Sketchy Sultan. He goes by this name, Sketchy Sultan. His original name is Amit Shah. Amit, I don't recollect his last name, but Sketchy Sultan. And I was amused to see that he has already taken care of it, right? Varley tunes do exist. And that is something motivated me to learn cartoons, right? I decided to look up for this guy online. I did not find his number for quite some time, but then I, made few attempts and I got hold of him and I asked him if he takes classes, and he was taking classes. And that is how my interest for cartoons developed. And in that duration, Suchak was also writing. So he writes as well. He was writing about his whole transitioning from 95 kg to 65. So, and then he, titled this particular writing or a blog, or you can say as 95 to 65. And that, actually inspired me to come up with a title for his, not book, I can't call it as a book, a blog, right? So I drew 95 to 65 into a cartoon. I made a cartoon of him, not a caricature, just a cartoon, of the way he looks. And that is how the interest grew. And then I started learning it through Sketchy Sultan. I met few cartoonists within Pune. I bought a lot of books on cartoons. And that is how my interest grew.
Wow, interesting. And the Shiva behind you, is that your creation as well?
That is his own creation, Shiva's creation, but I just, took some, attempted to, draw him. But yeah, it happened. Yeah.
So we'll welcome him also to the episode.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So it's
And I
already there.
believe he's already there, he's
Yeah,
already there.
you took the words out of my mouth, Priyanka. And when I've drawn a lot of inspiration already from Priyanka, so when she was telling about her drawing skills in school, so I remember the best I could ever get was C, and usually it would be D bordering on E. And I was even sent for tuitions for drawing. Can you
I
imagine
see.
that? Not for any other subject, tuitions for drawing. Somehow, my
Yeah.
mother felt if he could learn how to draw two straight lines, and the difficult part would be I could make one half of the a particular pattern very beautifully and could never make the other part. And now probably I should also try my hands at cartoon. Maybe that's
Yeah.
something it works.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
tip I can definitely share, Shrish, is which I was taught by one of the senior cartoonists in Maharashtra. He told me all you have to do is draw a straight line and a circle without using any tools, right? You should be able to draw a straight line and a circle without any tools. The moment you are able to do that, and the second thing what he advised me to do is just sit, observe surroundings. You will find everything either in a circle or in straight lines, right? And then you observe, let's say you're observing a tree, just try to draw the tree as the way you can, right? Don't get into nitty-gritty of whether it is coming out the best, doesn't matter. You just observe things and keep drawing. So he told me a tip that, you should always carry a small notebook and a pen or a pencil with you, and, just keep drawing. That is how you will learn. So that tip actually really helped me long way.
So about drawing, you've told us. I find you very articulate, Priyanka. So it is something you picked up during your course of 18 years of corporate life, or it was the education that helped you with this, the way you speak?
I feel both. Education is because, like, see, I was always, participative in extracurricular activities, right? Be it dance, be it singing in school, or whatever opportunity I got during that time, right? Apart from that, definitely I would, give it to my professional career as well. 18 years in the industry, started with a very small firm, didn't have any particular direction or a vision where to, head to. frankly, things happened accidentally for me because when I started my career 18 years back, the priority was to earn money and settle, and give my mother a better livelihood is what was my goal to back then. But then, fortunately, during this course of professional time, I get to meet a lot of different people, right? And a lot of organizations like Microsoft, SAP, Red Hat happened in my life. I would also like to give credit to the individuals I met during that time, or the experience that I got from these various firms during this past 18 years, right? So I think it is both. And I believe a little bit also it has to do with my mother. Like my mother was always like she used to play chess, she used to, also participate in extracurricular activities in her office, right? So maybe it's all about that. And lastly, the place where I grew up, right? It is a small town, right? Where I would not call it as a slum, but it's a small town where I have grew up, and then there you actually, learn a lot of things, right, on the grounds, right? You get to know, you get leadership lessons there, right? When you are, let's say you plan to do a Ganesh festival, right? That is where you all come together, you put efforts, you identify, what themes you want to have for a particular program, you plan that entire event, right? So all this, I think, put together has made me what I am today.
Interesting. So all that has come through. A lot of river has flown for you to be here. So I am possibly the prankster of the whole episode, right? So I have to give you something that makes you an interesting space. So if you were to, basically describe yourself in 5 adjectives, right?
Oh
So
my God.
what would that be?
I was totally not prepared for this. I must tell
Yes.
the listeners this is not scripted. Everything is impromptu. I have no idea what I'm going to answer to this question, right? But I'll try to do my best. I think I definitely am a creative person. I feel I'm a creative person at heart. Cartooning also, right? We spoke about cartooning some time back, right? I feel that if I sit and draw one single cartoon, it's a meditative process. I don't think about anything that is happening in my life, beyond my life, happening in the future, right? It's a very peaceful time for me. So creative person is what sure I am. Secondly, I'm a very like chatty, like, I like to talk to people. I enjoy my time around people, with people. So that is something I'm a social person, I can say, right? I can make friends with a stranger too. So I enjoy that. Third, I think, oh my God, I think I'm not able to recollect anything more around this. Uh, Third, I would say I also enjoy cooking. So I assume that I'm a good cook.
We'll get to
Maybe
know about that.
When Suchak joins, he will tell us, right? But I think that is something I definitely enjoy. I like to try different things. Uh, Fourth, an adjective about me. Should we ask this question to Suchak? Would that be much
So
better? Uh,
So first of all, I am thankful that I am not the guest, and Sunil is the host.
And
So
what two more points, right? I don't want to leave the answer unanswered, question unanswered, sorry. I think I'm also an honest person. I strongly believe that and I advocate. I believe that honesty should come first. A person should be honest. I'm also very simple at the same time, I like to be it is said, right? When you are in Rome, do what Romans do. So I'm a very adaptive person, right? I can live here. If life throws me a challenge that I have to go again back in the city and live there, I think I will accept it more graciously. So this is how I would like to answer your question, Sunil.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think also because you're a bird watcher, so I think that angle of patience also comes into play. I think that there's a lot of
Yeah.
spirituality
Yeah.
it's almost as if Priyanka has a lot of time. It's like, Sachin Tendulkar and all that. So it's like they know that they have a lot more time than all of us in terms of
Yeah,
what that they're doing.
very true. But the third adjective caught my attention. I'm a good cook, and she has been a successful restaurant also. So is that
Yeah.
connected in some way? Running a successful restaurant and being a good cook.
I would like to give credit of the restaurant to Suchak, to be very honest, because it was his dream. Like he proposed me 18 years back, and I remember this guy telling me, on bandstand at Bandra near the sea, look, Priyanka, it's my passion, it's my dream to start a restaurant. I don't know when I'm going to start it, but I definitely want to do it, right? So interest in cooking definitely helped us, to be successful because we went uh, to extremes, right? We did research, right? We spent around 3, 4 months researching on each and every small details, like which chili they use. Like our restaurant was a Saudi cuisine, right, from Vidarbha region. So I believe, yeah, cooking did definitely help because then right, what is happening in the kitchen, and then your cooks can't overpower you because they know the boss knows, right? If something goes right, one element is missing, she or he would probably know what is going wrong. So I would give credit to cooking as well. Yeah, the interest in cooking as well.
So just one question here: was he 65 or 95 when he met proposed to you 18 years back?
No, I think he was way thinner than that. I think he must be in his 50s, right? 50, 55. I don't know the exact weight.
And then he went
I,
to 95. We've got the
then he
proof
went
of
to 90.
that you're a good cook.
Yeah, you can say that.
And so what brought it down? So again, so what is that a proof of?
That is something I think, let's discuss it together because that is a turning point in our life. So, what the new Priyanka, the Priyanka 2.0 or Suchak 2.0 that you see today, it has to do with an episode that happened in my life or our life rather in 2020. So,
Okay, so before we go there, I just have one more question for Priyanka. So when I joined working in my business, so my father used to tell me, anyone can make anything. It takes a genius to sell it. You've
yeah,
been in field of marketing for the last 18 years. Share us some good stories, some story which really, where you were happy about or inspired that you sold something or created a brand,
sure,
something very challenging, or maybe
sure,
that gave
sure.
you a lot of satisfaction.
Sure. I think this is very interesting question and very close to my heart also, right? I would love to definitely talk about this because, see, I started my career, as I said, right, accidentally, right? I was in HR. Even before HR, I went into a printing press where they used to print Inox tickets, movie, cinema hall. So it was just kind of a junoon, right? जो job मिल रहा है, anything that is coming my way, I was just accepting it. So I started with that printing press. Somehow I felt like, this is not my cup of tea. So I left, I got into HR. I worked there for 6 months. Again, I got the same feeling. No hard feelings for any HR out there, but I felt, this is not something I want to do. And then sales happened to me thanks to my school friend and college friend Divya Shetty. I would definitely like to take her name here. She just called me one random day during, if you remember, there was Mumbai rains. Which year I don't remember. It's 2611, right? 2006, if I'm not mistaken, right? And Mumbai was standstill. And I just expected, I just got a call unexpectedly from my friend, Divya, and she told me there is a job in her firm, right? And I was like, okay, let me just see what it is. So I decided to, go there and interview, and it was a sales job. So I would like to talk about one incident out of this 18 years, right, which is very interesting, and I want to tell to all listeners, right? Just believe in yourself. Just be you, right? Somebody, a guy who is successful, you don't have to be. you can look at that person as a role model, but that doesn't mean that his success and your success are going to be same and the timing is also going to be same, right? So what happened is, I remember in Bangalore, I moved to Bangalore working for SAP, and during that time my role was to take do sales for American customers. Sitting in Bangalore, I used to work in night shifts, and I remember my first day. So we got a training from my manager and from the team. And till that time, you guys won't believe, I had never seen any English movies. I have not heard any person with an accent speaking English, right? So it was a completely new world and new experience for me. And you would not believe the time when the time came when I was supposed to make that first call, I started shivering. I started crying. Trust me, I was literally crying. And then my boss took me, he just told me, just come aside, let's talk, let's understand what's wrong. I said, in my entire life, I have never heard an American speaking. I'm not sure whether I'll understand what the other person, right, the person on the other side is going to say. So that is where my entire fear was, right? He just told me, just calm down. You just be yourself, okay? Even if you don't understand a single word, that's okay. You can say sorry and cut the phone. And he just gave me confidence. And he just told me one line then, right? And one more thing I told him while I was crying. See, all of you, like on the floor, right? We were a team of like, I think 8, 9 people then, including my manager. And I was like, you all speak so well. All of you have developed accent, right? And I don't have any accent to, talk on the call. So he just told me one thing. And then I also told him that my background is completely different. Though I did IT sales, he told me, whatever you have learned till date, unlearn it, right? Until and unless you don't unlearn what you have learned in the past, you will not be empty to learn new things, right? So just do that and just be on the call. I made my first call. You will not believe that first call turned into a qualified lead, right? So there were certain criterias to, to qualify the leads basically. So that is something is very close to my heart. I could understand what the other person on the call was speaking, like though he was speaking in American accent. So I think if you are yourself, you're true to yourself, you're ready to learn something new, I think sky's the limit.
Very, very interesting. So, sky is the limit. You shared the first call, jitters. I think are a very, very beautiful experience. So you will learn a lot more, and you will unlearn a lot of things. So when you said unlearn, the coach inside me was suddenly awakened and said, "Oh, what did you unlearn? 18 years in space." So favorite unlearning chapter.
Of me,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely. See, so it was out of this 18 years, I think the first decade, like 10 years was into sales, right? Then I was kind of bored, right? Doing the same thing, making sure my targets are met, though by God's grace and by all the efforts put in, I was able to achieve my numbers. Every organization I was in, right? I said, I think I need to do something different. And I used to see my colleagues in marketing, and I found them, they were very creative. And as I said, like creativity is something keeps me moving or keeps me going. And that is when I decided to switch to marketing. Definitely, I did not unlearn everything because what my experience in sales helped me, achieve more in marketing. I could understand what a salesperson need, right? See, I am not into consumer marketing. I'm into B2B marketing, business to business marketing, right? So here, my goal is to ensure that my services are well understood by my clients. I act as a enabler or a go-to person for my sales team. So unlearning, not entirely, but I would say whatever I had learned during sales, I could convert them into a new learning and use that as a foundation to come up with some interesting campaigns or, we also had to name few services. So that is how I would, like to put it, Sunil.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Very, very interesting. Mm.
And now I think it's time we got Suchak in, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Got some
Just
info about Priyanka from Suchak also.
let's welcome him. I'll
It's
just move
for
aside.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it's time for the bird watcher and the bird to come together. So
Yes.
lovely. So welcome, Suchak. So, what all have you heard of whatever we've shared from here? So, I think Priyanka has been sharing a lot. She's built up enough curiosity to look at who you are, the 95 to 65 kind of a story. Then when you are proposed to her 18 years back, and minimalistic lifestyle, the restaurant, your experience. So tell us a little bit more.
Thank you for having me, first of all. There's a lot to share, actually. I'll just go on. If I just keep continuing, just stop me if you feel that this is not needed or something. So I come from a very, I would say, poor background, honestly. I mean, to put it bluntly, I got born, I was born in a slum in Mumbai. I guess, the second biggest slum, I would say, in Mumbai. So my childhood was pretty simple, normal looking guy, just interested in 10 rupees or 5 rupees vada pav at that time. That's what I used to eat. Just find somebody who is elder to us and ask them to take us to have some vada pavs or something like that. But that taught me that I think money basically is so important in life that if you want to do something in life, I think money is required. That was my thought process back then, because the difficulties that I've seen, my mother never worked before. Right after my father passing, she had to go ahead and start looking for a job. She has never been to a neighbor's house as well. So for her to actually go out in the market and work was really, really difficult. So that was my kind of brief childhood that I had. So money was something that I was always looking for, but it wasn't like I was so ambitious or okay, I want to become a CEO of any company. Nothing like that. I was still pretty chill. I wanted to just make sure that I earn enough money to support my family, and that's exactly what has happened. I got into IT. I'm a technical person. Started working on Microsoft technologies back then. That's where I met Priyanka I guess, in my second organization. And right after that, we got along with each other very well, and then we started dating. And that's how I was in Bandstand in Mumbai, and then all those things which has happened. So that's how things changed. And I, fortunately, with God's grace, His grace, Shiva's grace, I was able to go into companies like Microsoft, Schlumberger, Capgemini, so on and so forth, are gradually increasing my pay scale along with my skills and so on and so forth. The, I give my complete credit. I give complete credit to my personality development, or the way I speak, the way I interact with people, to Microsoft, because I come from a vernacular medium. English was, as Priyanka mentioned, it was a very difficult language for us to communicate to. But Microsoft kind of gave us that opportunity. They actually taught me past tense, future tense, and present tense for 3 months when I joined them. So that was an amazing experience that I had, and that's how actually things changed for me. And right after Microsoft, I think all the doors were open for me. As soon as I tell any organization that I work for Microsoft for these many years, they're like, okay, I think whoever works for Microsoft is a cream crowd. So I never really felt difficulties in basically clearing the interviews and going so on and so forth. So this was the whole idea. This was the whole journey. We moved across the world, worked in Africa, worked in Dubai, few years in US, so on and so forth. And then suddenly in 2020, as Priyanka was talking about, I think she was in Dubai that time, and when Corona stuff was started, and right before our Modi ji Prime Minister announced the lockdown, she came back from Dubai, and everything was under lockdown. I don't know. I had no bad feelings about Corona. Honestly speaking, I had absolutely no fear at all. But she started feeling sick. It wasn't Corona that time at all, but she was not well. She was having some pain. I mean, fever and this and that. But it wasn't Corona. We tested and everything was done. And unfortunately for us, that time nobody was ready to see the patient, right? Because everybody was scared of Corona. Doctors were not ready to see anyone in the initial phase, actually. Of course, doctors and everybody actually worked tremendously well to get rid of Corona and all those things right after that. But initially, everybody was scared. And this is I guess it's very normal for the people. So all our consultations with the doctors were through telephones. And whatever they used to prescribe her, we used to just get those medicines and ask her to take. And because of these wrong prescriptions, it wasn't even their fault, because they were not able to actually understand the symptoms better, because we were not able to see them personally. And so she basically took all the medicines that was prescribed over the phone, and that created a mess in her entire health life, basically. She developed something called as GERD. It's an hyperacidity, you can say, where you will not be able to digest anything. When I say anything, that means even the moong dal was not able to digest if she eats that. She wasn't able to sleep at night. She was not able to eat properly. She lost around 12 to 15 kgs at that time. And one night at around 3 a.m. in the morning, she just got up and told me that, not got up, actually, she was awake and I was sleeping. She
Yeah.
just woke me up and said,
No, I actually, sorry, I've been cutting you, but I told him to sleep, right? Because I couldn't sleep at all, right? The acid used to come up. So I couldn't sleep or I couldn't even sit. So I used to walk in the house the whole night. And the entire day he used to take care of me, right? He was the one who stood by me like an angel. So I used to request him, "Ki, you go to bed, you take rest in the night, and anyways you are going to take care of me during the day." Sorry, you continue now.
That's okay. So one fine day at 3 a.m. in the night, she woke me up and said, "I don't think I'll be able to see tomorrow's day." And that was like a shocker to me. I mean, I knew that it was bad, but I never really dreamt that something like that would be on the way, or she would probably say something like this. And that changed my entire mindset. Right after that, the next day morning, the first thing that I did was I asked her to stop all her allopathic medicines. And since then, we haven't taken any allopathic medicines. We are completely against taking allopathic medicines. I mean, it's not that we are, if there is a very big illness or anything big that has happened, we will say that, okay, no, I don't want to take, we don't want to don't want to go that route. But as much as possible, we want to stick with Ayurveda and homeopathy. And since then, since 2020 or 2021, I guess, we haven't taken allopathic medicine. So as I said, I was saying, we stopped the allopathic medicine back then. We read few blogs, and there's a great book I would recommend everybody to basically try and read that. It's called Ashtanga Hridayam from Maharshi Vagbhatta. Now there are 3 volumes to it. First volume says how an individual should live his life, right from the morning till you go to bed, how an individual should live his life. The second book talks about some illnesses and the medicines for those, Ayurvedic medicines for those. And the third book actually talks about the surgeries that you can actually do on human body if you want to get things, I mean, some bad things out from the human body. Now, think about it. This book was actually been written around 4,500 years back. And that guy is talking about surgeries. So think about how our Ayurveda is has so
Advanced.
much to give to the community, right? So because of those 3 volumes, that particular book, our entire life changed. I mean, we set a specific routine for Priyanka, right? Wake up at this time, do this right after you wake up, do that. And that is how we basically continue. And at the same time, we started some home remedies along with some Ayurvedic remedies for her to get better. And honestly, which was not happening with allopathic medicine, even after we admitted her for few, I think 3 4 days before, everything turned out to be well. Within next couple of months, she started getting better just by home remedies and Ayurvedic medicines, and by changing the lifestyle. And that's like a
Eye opener.
eye opener for us. I mean, it's like we had so much money in our bank account, right? And even if we had that money, there was nothing we could do. Absolutely nothing. People were not doctors were not ready to see it. They were not able to understand what to do, how to do, and so on and so forth. So that's when we decided that I think it's enough. I don't think I want to run behind money anymore. That was my childhood dream, that I want to earn money, and that's how it got stopped. And that's when we said, now she's better. Let's put everything in the car. Let's put our utensils. Let's put our
Beds.
beds and
Bedding
mattresses and
space.
beddings and everything, and let's go for a road trip and see how people live. And it was a nice time because it was a Corona time. Everybody was working from home, so we had an option to move around. And wherever we are, we used to just open our laptop and work as well, right? So by doing that, we also thought, let's go ahead and buy land. Until then, we had no idea what are we going to do with that land, but we thought, let's just go ahead and explore the possibilities and let's buy land. That's how we started our journey from Pune. And then we were just halting and stopping at anybody's place, honestly. I mean, we were actually covering the entire Konkan belt, which is from, I would say, from Pune to till Goa. So we were just going and going to any village, asking them if we can stay at your place for a few days, maybe teach us some farming, or teach us this or teach us that, just kind of understanding how these people live, right? And that's
Wow.
basically opened our eyes a lot, because the happiness that was there in the villages, I couldn't see that happiness in the cities. Absolutely not. Everybody was happy, everybody was at the peace, so on and so forth. And that's how we started our journey, where we kind of thought, I think the happiness lies in the villages, or a minimalistic living. And that's when we said, as soon as we buy the land, we should build a mud house. Of course, there are benefits of mud house as well, and minimalistic living benefits as well. So that's how we basically started our journey. I
Wow.
don't know it was a long answer or short, but I'm sorry.
I think all answers are interesting answers. So, oh, crazy man. I think so. This is a little difficult in terms of us, podcasters, because you shared so many things and there's so many interesting things along the way. So we want to tap onto multiple stuff. But maybe because the stories are what guide us, or sometimes the stories are the most powerful spaces. So when you did stop at all these villages, right, were there interesting people? I'm sure you met interesting people. So anything that you can recollect from those spaces that feels like wow, I think whatever you said, my only last sentence was wow. So you can any other story that takes you back to that time, any people that you met that you remember.
I would say everybody that I met basically taught me some or the other things. One specific instance, if you ask me, I was kind of a science guy. I wasn't really into spirituality back then, or not even willing to go to a temple, honestly, back then. And we were staying at one of the village in Konkan Belt again. I think it was my friend's village, where they wanted to get a bore well done for the water requirement that they had. And since I was staying there, they relied on me, saying that, why don't you take care of the activities? Just, I mean, we'll arrange everything. Just make sure that things happens properly and smoothly, and then everything is done. And I was like, okay, no problem. So the first thing that I saw was the guy who was supposed to basically get the contractor to dig a hole and bore well and so on and so forth. He comes to the place. He actually took a coconut in his hand, and then he removed his sleepers. He said something, and he started walking around the area where he wanted to basically dig a hole. And right after, I would say, a few seconds or few minutes, the coconut basically stands straight on his hand. I was like, technically, scientifically, I don't understand this. How this coconut can actually go straight on a hand, right? So that was kind of shocking to me. I Right after he did that, he said, "Okay, this is the place. Go ahead and dig the bore well, and you will find water." I was shocked. I was like, "Let me try that." Whatever he did, and I took the coconut and I just went ahead and did the same thing, whatever he was doing. And to my surprise, the same thing happened with me. The coconut actually stood on my hand as well. We tried with Priyanka, it happened with her as well. So that kind of shook me internally. I mean, maybe it's a small thing for somebody, but for me, it was like, how can that is possible? There must be something scientific, and there is science behind it. It's not that there is no science behind it, but that is one thing that we have seen. Another thing that I have seen back then was another guy basically asked us to put a pan. He put a coconut on top of the pan. He gave another coconut to a working lady, another lady who was actually just standing there. The guy sat on top of the pan, on top of the coconut, and asked that lady to move around. And as soon as that lady was moving around, there was one place where that guy started rotating continuously.
On top of the
On top
pan.
of the pan, on top of the coconut, the fat guy, he started rotating. He was rotating so fast that I was so amazed to see that. So that changed my entire perspective when it comes to spirituality and so on and so forth. So that was one incident I would actually think changed me from kind of I still believe in science, but I do believe in spirituality now a lot, maybe more than science now.
Those are some stories, Sunil. Yeah, I think you can write a book on those three or
Yeah,
4 years that you spent.
absolutely.
Would be wonderful read. Uh, Suchak, when you mentioned minimalistic living and advocate it, what exactly does minimalistic living mean?
So 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 basically, whatever we need, I mean, to live a happy and a peaceful or a content life is not much. I mean, you buy a house, you feel happy. I mean, usually for most of the people, it is actually not your house; it's a bank house. Basically, you take a loan from bank, so it's not your house technically, right? You buy a car, you feel happy, but all this happiness is just momentarily, I would say, a few days, right? I mean, after a few days, you're just like, okay, it's gone. There's no happiness. I mean, it's a regular house that we have, nothing much. So there must be something that makes you happy, feel content inside, right? And that's how spirituality helps. That's how we move to spiritual stuff and meditation and so on and so forth. That, and while doing the spiritual practices, so while reading and learning about spirituality, we also thought that whatever we have currently with us is more than enough, and you don't even need until you die. If I give you an example of clothes, I had so many clothes that I don't think I need to buy any more pair of jeans or t-shirts or anything for rest of my life.
Unless you become 95 again.
Right. So that's how we understood that whatever we basically get, it is unnecessary. Then I went one step further. From where we get all the raw materials for all these things, be it its car, its house, its clothes, or even the smallest thing, you get it from the nature, right? How much nature can give you? There is a limit to nature, right? We are just exploiting the nature. We just keep taking it from the nature. Even for the water, I mean, if you dig a bore well or a well, you're actually taking the water from the earth, right? You're actually not putting water inside unless it is raining. Think about the situation where somehow it should not happen, but if the rain stops, how can you actually dig a hole and get water outside? So that's how we started thinking about a minimalistic living. Now if I talk about an air conditioning, it emits a greenhouse gases. It's again bad for the weather. It's bad for the ozone layer. It's going to increase your temperature. If I talk about fridge, it is going to be bad for that, for the say greenhouse, again going to emit greenhouse gases. So when you think about all the comfortable things that you try and accumulate in your lifetime, you don't understand that maybe you don't need them, right? And even if you need them, is it actually better for you to have that? Because if you eat food from the refrigerator, you are basically eating an older food. Maybe you cook today and then tomorrow and day after tomorrow you eat the same food, right? It is unhealthy. If you use air conditioning throughout the day, it's not good for your body. It's not good basically to be in air condition 24/7, right? It's bad for the nature for sure, but it's not good for you as well, right? That's when we thought, why can't we actually try and see if we can actually live a minimalistic life? And credit goes to Priyanka as well, because these were my thoughts. I mean, a woman staying without a refrigerator, I guess it's a nightmare for a woman, right? Specifically for a working woman. She takes care of the house, she takes care of the office, she takes care of the family and everything, right? So refrigerator is kind of a right hand man for a woman, right? And woman, I would say, for that lady, right? So she actually accepted these changes, and that's how we said, okay, let's go minimalistic. Let's try and live a life where we actually not exploit the nature, try and live as less things as possible, and that's how we went in that direction. And honestly speaking, even after we are living this life now, I don't know, I don't think you can see my house currently. Our house currently, there's no fan, there's no refrigerator, there is no television, but we are so happy, we are so content. So your soul needs contentment. Contentment is the wealth of your soul. It's not money. It's definitely not money. How much your money you earn, you will never feel content, because you'll always feel like I want more, I want more things and this and that. But right after moving to this place, right after going into minimalism and getting rid of unnecessary things, I feel content.
Challenge, refrigerator challenge, and you know what was going in my mind? What about those rasgullas and modaks, those midnight snackings? How will that happen with no refrigerator around? And
So you
without
have to
those,
have no, you also have to have discipline, along with not having a refrigerator. Like we eat everything. Like you named whatever you just named right now, modaks, rasgullas, we do eat all of that, right? We haven't given up on food. He's a big time foodie. So he definitely can't give up on food. He likes to have all his favorite food. In fact, if at all, if I happen to travel to Bangalore, his favorite is Corner House ice cream, and I have to get it from there, right? So it's like that we have not given up on anything. It's just that what we try to do is we try to, spend some time understanding, do we really need this, right? Frankly speaking, uh, I haven't bought a piece of cloth for last 4 years. Okay. But now there is an event which is taking place towards month end. But that for that event, I need a specific, clothing. I'm going to buy. But entire last 4 years, there was no need to purchase a single piece of cloth. I could manage myself in this place in just two pair of clothes. This man also could manage in two pair of clothes. So even I think minimalism, he's talking about it now, and it is his generosity. But I would like to say, and I really love him so much. When he was in Bangalore working for Microsoft, we were not married. This man, as he said, right, he comes from a background where he was the bread earner, I would say, right? And you know where he's coming from. This man spent his 3 years in one pair of jeans. I don't want to cry here, but it is there in him. It's just that, this situation told us the quality what you have already within you. You need to come across a situation where you know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and you work on the weaknesses, you grab the strengths, right? So it is there in him already, right? So again, minimalism is not something that you have to like give up on your love or passion. You judge whether it is really needed. If it is needed, go for it. Go wholeheartedly, do shopping, buy stuff. If it is not needed, then take a pause, take a moment that it's okay. We can look at it later.
And just to add to what she said, in terms of rasgullas and modaks and everything else, I mean, it actually helps you when you minimize your spending, and if you live like a minimalistic lifestyle. Now, the place where we stay, there's no restaurant around, so I won't be able to get whatever I need unless I travel few kilometers, and only then I'll get that. So it actually helps you on your health wise as well, right? Then from 95 to 65, what she was talking about earlier, unnecessary spending, money gets saved. Your health is basically health. I mean, you don't eat unhealthy food, so your health wise you're okay. You live in a nice place. Oxygen is full in the air. The water is fresh. It's not fluoride water that we drink in Pune or Mumbai or any major cities for that matters, right? Sorry, one sec. So it's a fresh water that we drink, and air is also good. So
And
that's what I'm talking about in terms of minimalism.
and you plus cook, your favorite food
Exactly.
items. You put efforts, and luckily from day one, he has always been helping me in the kitchen too. So you put efforts together, right? And then make your delicious food item and relish it.
Fascinating. So when you're calling all of us to your, yes.
Oh, you guys are welcome whenever you can. No problem.
You just tell us.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to tell our producer saying, sponsor us. I think all of us, mostly Bianca is the one who will have to find it interesting. And maybe Bianca will be easier to fly than all of us combined to get there. And I think, yeah, lovely. So the poet in me is very overjoyed to see, both of you complementing each other so beautifully, right? So, and the Shiva there also adds to that space. It looks like Shiva and Ganga are the same place. Um, so
Thank
Priyanka has been
you.
gushing over you for quite, like, oh, Suchak is this, that. We read a lot of this, a lot of love stories being shared. But if I had to put saying, what do you love about Priyanka and all that,
Oh,
she's,
thank you. I'm
yeah,
your
see,
big fan, Sunil.
yes, Suchak.
I guess we are actually different individuals, honestly. When she was talking about she'll need more births to fulfill her dreams, and I'm completely different. I'm done with this world. I don't want to get more births anymore. I mean, I'm happy. I'm content. Spirituality wise, I don't want to have more births coming up for me. So we are different individual in that terms, and that's why I guess we complement each other, right? I mean, wherever I am lacking, if I give you an example, I may not be I'm not a people's person. I don't go into social events much. I don't like a lot of people around. Sometimes it's fine. I mean, if somebody comes up in my home, I mean, we don't have an issue with it for a few days or few months, so on and so forth. But Priyanka is completely opposite. So she fills that particular gap for me. I mean, even for, I mean, for my relatives, functions and so on and so, I'm never ready to go. I mean, I don't want to go, even if it's the closest relative, right? But she says, no, we have to go, we should go. Then she'll get part. I can tell you another important thing about Priyanka. Okay, she can come to your house, anybody of your house, and everybody in your relatives and everybody feel like she's somebody related to you. She will make her so comfortable in anybody's house that the relatives and everybody else will think that she is also some relative. She is not coming from outside. So all these things are actually very interesting in her, and that actually fills the gap which is available in me. So that's how I want to put it.
You know,
Yeah.
minimalistic living, and now we see relationship goals coming up. So they say that successful marriage is just like farming. Every morning you get up and you get back at it.
Yep,
How do you
that's true.
you resonate with that?
No, definitely. I mean, uh, I guess honestly speaking, I can say that this needs a divine intervention too. Whatever we are doing currently, it may not be possible for everybody and whoever wants to do it. Because I have few friends, like my friend wants to do it, his wife doesn't want to do it. Somebody's wife wants to do it, but the guy doesn't want to do it, right? So this definitely needs some divine intervention where you should have the prarabdhas and gunanubandhas. Prarabdhas are nothing but your baggages that you carry from your previous lives, and gunanubandhas are nothing but the connections that you have from your previous life, right? So I feel that we have those between us, because of which some or the other day we come together and discuss a particular thing and come to a conclusion. Rather, it's not that we don't fight. We fight a lot. I guess if you ask our neighbors or our relatives, they feel like we are fighting
Yeah.
almost entire day.
The way we speak, right?
Yeah.
Lot of I remember like meeting his office colleagues first time, the one from Pune, and we were just normally talking, right? And one of the friend actually came and approached me and is like, "Are you guys fighting? Is everything all right?" I was like, "No, no, everything is fine. This is how we speak." I would just like to add, like, of course, I totally believe in divine interventions, no doubt about that, or your, past life. But I would also like to say one thing, to the listeners is this. I think you have to accept, right? It's not that I don't fight. It's not that, I don't initiate that fight. It happens, right? You are end of the day human beings, right? You are tend to fight. That anger is going to come out one day or the other. But at the same time, I think you have to accept the person the way he is, the good part in him or her, right? So when you accept that person the way he or she is, I don't think ever you will need, I mean, sorry, I'm talking about coaches, but you would need you will need an external person coming and interfering and or rather not interfering,
Helping you.
helping to tell you on your relationship goals. So this is what I would say works for us. There are a lot of drawbacks in me, there are a lot of drawbacks in him, there are plus in me, pluses in him. So what we do, we try to leverage them whenever the situation or opportunity comes. And in places where I don't think I am good at, I don't, nudge into it. As like, you take control of it, you manage it. So I think if you do that, life is very easy that way.
Suchak, you are really a very lucky man. You've got a wife who
Thank you.
agrees
I
that
am.
that she's got some drawbacks.
I told you I'm an honest person.
Thank you.
And interestingly, you said if you have all of this, you don't need coaches. So I think I'd be very happy to live in a world where coaching is not really required. So
No,
that will be already a very highly spiritual world already. So
no, no. Can I
yeah,
say something before you ask the next question? I really
please,
want to
please.
thank Shrish on this platform too, right? Coaches are definitely needed. For me, it was completely an alien term. Coaching or there are coaches, right? Exist was an alien term for me. I'm thankful to Vijay sir who introduced me to Shirish. And that, when the decision of moving here, it was there. It was on our cards. We built this house. The house was ready. It was just matter of time for us to do that shift. And I was in a particular dilemma, right? He was all set. चलो अभी निकलना है सब कुछ इधर पैकअप करके पुणे में you leave the metro city and then come here. And I'm so grateful and thankful to the divine that I got introduced to Shrish, who is a life coach. and it was just a normal call, right? 1 hour, 1.5 hour, I think we spoke. I had two calls with him. But in the first call itself, I could understand the importance of coaching, right? He did not ask me, like it was just, he was just listening to me, and I just was normal conversation. I kept talking, and towards the end of the call, I realized what was the inhibition in me, or what was stopping me, or what was that one fear, why should I take this step or should I not? So again, that was just a joke. Don't take me seriously what I said before. But definitely coaches are important, and I'm really grateful to Shrish for, coming in my life that time. Thank you so much, Shrish.
I'm now asking which part of it is a joke.
The Shrish part or the first part? I was about to ask the same thing.
Good one.
So, Suchak, you just mentioned something very important, that you both were on the same wavelength and you could lead this lifestyle, and most of the couples are not. So, what should they do actually? What would you suggest them so that they can achieve some kind of relation back to the nature, going back to the nature?
Okay, so you mean moving to the nature if they want to do it, and some couples are not ready. A guy is ready, the girl is not ready, something like that, right?
Our situation does not
That's
permit them because everybody has a different set of circumstances.
right,
So,
right,
what they can do within the set of circumstances. This is what I would
right.
like to know.
I think I'll take it in a little different way, because as soon as somebody understands that the happiness lies here and not here, not in a car or not in a big house, the happiness is actually living in the nature. As soon as somebody understands that, I think that switch will happen. It is difficult in some within some couples, because the comfort that they don't want to give up, right? I mean, I have a nice bed that I can sleep on every night, or I have a car wherever I want to go, I can just drive by and take do this and that. But they also need to understand, by doing that you're actually hurting your own health, honestly speaking. If I want to take basically go out and buy some groceries now, I can just walk, right? And that walk is enough, probably enough for me for the whole day's exercise. I don't need to wake up in the morning, do actually pick up weights and do exercise. I don't want to build a muscle, right? It's just that I need to stay healthy. So what I'm basically talking about is, if you understand the importance of not having those things, how it will actually benefit you if you don't have such things, living in the nature, drinking pure water, automatically things will change, and you will make that decision that I want to, I want to basically, maybe may not be it may not be possible for an individual to completely give it up. It's quite possible that it is so important. For example, for us, we don't have kids. That's what we planned since the beginning, that we will never have kids. But people with kids, I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible to have a kid and move to the nature. It's definitely feasible, definitely possible. There are n number of examples which we have in front of us. But if they have kids, and if they do not want to basically do that, they can cut down a little, right? Cut down a little in terms of their health. For example, I'll just little bit divert from the question, that I'm not using a toothpaste, right, for last 4 years. There's another story to that. I mean, I had 6 or 7 root canals done since my childhood. And one fine day I went to the doctor for my last root canal, and he said, you know what, there are two on the way as well. And I was like, oh, really? So I need to do something, right? And that was basically the time when we were actually making the changes in our lifestyle. So the major shift that I did was I stopped using toothpaste completely. I started using neem ka datun, or and mango datun, or normal there's something called as triphala churna. I mean, you must be heard about it, right? Triphala. It's an Ayurvedic powder. So you use that. Or if you don't even find that, I used to use just turmeric and salt. And you won't believe, after 2 months, I went to the same doctor. I asked him, can you check it out, how
What's
things
the
look
status?
now? And he's like, you don't have anything anymore.
The same guy was shocked.
He was shocked. The doctor was shocked. And he asked me, what did you do? I said, I stopped using toothpaste and a brush. And he himself was shocked, right? So similarly, I mean, they can actually cut down all these things right while staying in the city. Don't use, I mean, it's bad, right? Toothpaste has SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, which is basically bad for your health. It has humongous amount of sugar, which basically makes you have cavity. then you go to the dentist, you clear it out, you again brush with the same tooth. It's a cycle that doesn't go. I mean, it just the never ending cycle that we have. Similar goes with the soap. You don't need a soap to wash your body. I mean, I don't think I'm stinking because Priyanka wouldn't have stayed with me. For the last 4 years, I haven't used a bath soap. Right? So all these small things, if they start incorporating their life, they'll save money, they will be healthy, and after the other person sees that,
Yeah.
let's say wife is not ready to move and do this kind of things, husband should start doing it. They should start using soap, they should start using toothpaste, and as soon as the wife sees the benefits, sees the health in that, she will also think, right? I mean, this guy must be doing something else, this guy must be talking something which has sense. And maybe slowly and gradually they will come to a conclusion, okay, let's not move completely to the nature, but at least start doing these things. Small steps, right? So जैसे बूंद बूंद से सागर बनता है, something like that. So that's how I guess couples should be able to manage their indifferences that they might have around this.
Interesting. So I will try turmeric and salt. So I've been also looking at increasing my dental hygiene and so I've also moved out of the toothpaste scene for quite some time, but the brush still
Wow.
remains. So I think if the brush also can be eliminated, it will be interesting. So bamboo.
What I
Brush.
did, I can help you, Sunil. So what I did, like I was also on the same lines, right? I didn't want to give up the brush because I never got that satisfying feeling, right? Of not using the toothbrush. So what I did, I went with the children's toothbrush first, and that was recommended by my dentist. You go slow. So any changes that you see with us, right? It was all a gradual process, small steps. It's not that, like, drastically we moved away from television, drastically we decided to take out the fridge, nothing like that. Like all small steps. Maybe you can do that. Start with the children toothbrush and then maybe, get rid of it later.
Interesting. Very interesting. And so, because we are changepreneurs, and you've done a lot of very interesting changes. So, what's been your relationship with change?
Oh, if you ask me, I think I love changes. Priyanka just mentioned about a gradual change that we did. But if I look at my entire changes that I've made in our life, for me, if I talk about specifically as an individual soul, um, I kind of have a switch on and off switch. I can just turn it on and turn it off. To give you an example, I'm a foodie, as Priyanka mentioned, right? I eat everything. I mean, beef, pork, fish, chicken, mutton, everything basically. And one fine day, as soon as I understood the disadvantage of having non-vegetarian food, I said, I'm not going to have non-vegetarian food from tomorrow. And that's how I made a change. Now, these decisions sometimes may come back as for good or may come back as bad as well. Bad in the sense, if I give the same example, because I used to eat a lot of meat and suddenly stopped it, my B12 levels sometimes go down because B12 is basically comes directly from the meat, right? Usually. So my body is not adjusted to that particular thing as of now. But if you see the vegetarian people, their B12 is always normal. So body also takes time to adjust, right? But my whole thinking and thought process is like a button switch on and off. That's how I make changes in my life. Sometimes it helps me, sometimes it teaches me a lesson, but whatever lesson it teaches me, I try and cope up with it and fix it right after that, after I take the decision. So I don't try and wait to take a decision and try and see how can I actually decide this, how can I go about it, so on and so forth. I just decide and then act on it to make it successful.
Suchak, you've seen the life go full circle. Starting from a economically weaker position to rising up, making money, seeing position of power, going abroad, making money, and coming back. Now, for somebody who's just coming out of their colleges, universities, what is that one message that you'd like to give that particular person of how they can live a better life, a more content life, and obviously make money also?
Every individual is different, right? I mean, everybody has their own path and goals set. One advice I would say, everybody should do what they feel happy and content about. I think we might have heard this particular thing all the from a lot of people, right? I mean, do things that makes you happy, do things that make you content, right? But sometimes what happens is that contentment and happiness will come, but the money won't come, right? I mean, somebody wants to probably become a wildlife photographer, right? I mean, that wildlife photography thing may not have, I'm not saying it will not have, but it may not have the amount of money that the other IT engineer or somebody else can actually earn, right? But the individual needs to decide what he wants to do. Is money important for him, or his passion important for him? His contentment, happiness is important for him, or he can actually go in my way as well. I mean, play a safeguard where at some point in life he feels that okay, money is important for me. Go work for the money. Go do whatever you just make sure that whatever you do, it's an ethically, the whatever you're doing, it's an ethical stuff, not unethically or anything of that sort. Also, on top of that, I want to add that without harming a nature. We harm nature every day, every minute. We just don't realize it. Every single step that we take, it's actually harming the nature. So once you decide that, and once you need to also have an understanding how much money I need, right? You cannot just say that okay, I have 1 crore, I have 5 crores, I have 10 crores. Oh, you know what? I want another 50 crores. Or I have another. So you need to set a goal right at the beginning. That you know what? If I have this much amount of money, I'm happy. I don't need any more money to basically maybe live my life, take care of my parents, so on and so forth. That number can be different for every
Mm.
individual. Once that is done, it's going to be a hard stop. You need to have that courage to take that hard stop, saying that that's it. I'm not going to go further. Whatever I have, I'll see how I can manage that, how I can actually keep that in safeguard or invest or whatever you want to do, and then move to the actual happiness and contentment life that you want to live. Go become a wildlife photographer, just roam around in the nature, do whatever you the hell you want to do, right? And people ask me, I mean, a lot of people basically come and meet us here, our friends, relatives, whoever basically knows that we are living a minimalistic life. A lot of people come and meet us, right? So the main question that they ask me is, what do you do the whole day? And the only answer that I tell them is, you know what? Just sit in front of me for 15 minutes with your eyes closed and show me you can sit 15 minutes. And they have no answer to that. You cannot sit because of the kind of living that we have been
Condition.
doing in the cities. We just want everything fast. We just want to move. We just want to keep doing some or the other thing, right? You never go inwards. You always go outwards. You always look for happiness and contentment outwards. Whereas the contentment and happiness actually inside you. You don't need to go outside, right? So that's what I can basically suggest. I mean, you take a goal, but you have to be very honest and very have a hard goal, saying that you know what, after 50 crores, after 5 crores, after 50 lakhs, I'm not going, whatever happens, I'm not going to go. Even if I have a bad health, after, let's say I have a 50 lakh and that is my goal, and even after a few years my 50 lakhs is almost gone and I have a bad health, I don't care, I'll die, I don't care, because I personally believe, after going to spirituality, this is all just a show. This is a show, whatever we are living into. This is not a truth. Death is the fact. That is the truth, right? That is what I believe. So I'm not fearful of death. So that's what I can basically give them as an advice.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. It's a very, very intense this thing.
Yeah.
You guys come across as very intense, as lively as possible. So, and generally, in terms of possibly a question in terms of a closure conversation, right, Priyanka? So, if you were to
Mhm.
look at yourself as the bird that you're watching and taking a picture, so what would that picture represent, and what will that picture be? So,
Oh, bird. Okay. I would like to be a great Indian hornbill, right?
mm,
Because I loved it the most. It is the most biggest bird that I have seen so far. I could like identify 90 species in the last 1 year or so, since I've done, since my interest in ornithology or birds. And I think I would like to be that particular bird because it is huge, it is humongous. When it flies, it makes noise as if like, a airplane is, taking, what do you call that?
Taking off.
Taking off. So I think I would like to be a great Indian hornbill.
oh, fascinating, fascinating. And then with that, also build more forests and more interesting, ecosystems as well.
Yeah. it's difficult, right? I mean, I would just like to say this because we are attempting. I'm not saying that we are doing great jobs. 4 years back, we had planted around 50 trees, right? Not all could survive. Some of them survived. They grow very slow, right? They take their they have their own pace of growing. So I think we should plant more trees, take care of them, see if we can, control the cutting of trees too.
And since she spoke about trees, I just want to go back to Shrish's question before. As soon as I heard Priyanka's answer, just one thing that I want to basically mention about Shrish's earlier question is that we need doers. We don't need preachers. We absolutely do not need preachers. We have enough preachers. Everybody wants to give gyan. Nobody wants to do the stuff or actually go ahead and act on it. Because if I put preachers and doers in the categories, I see everybody have some or the other say on anything and everything that we have that happens in life, right? Everybody becomes doctors, everybody becomes engineers in our life. They suggest that this is how you should construct your house, this is the medicine that you should take after this happens, that happens. But they are just basically preachers. They just preach, keep on preaching. Then we have second category, right, who are basically, I call them Insta Facebook doers. They just want to plant 50 and 100 trees. Nobody is going to see if they are going to water them, if they are going to take care of them. They'll just take a picture, put it on Instagram, and that's it. Gather likes and comments and so on and so forth. Those are, I call them Insta Facebook doers. But the last category is what we need, right? I mean, we need people who actually not only plant the trees, take care of them, water them, and make sure after 10 years it actually grows in a huge tree, right? So that's those kind of people we need. So just wanted to add that to his last question.
And I want to ask Priyanka, the bird watcher, which bird does Suchak resemble?
Oh. Okay, interesting. I would call him the Hardya. What is it? The English name of Hardya is a Marathi name. Uh,
Bharat?
no, not barbet. The one which is yellow in
Golden
color.
Oriole.
Golden Oriole. The reason for that is it is always in pairs, you always see him. I've always actually cited it in pairs. And this man, he is a foundation of my life. I can say he's a pillar. And
Oh, nice. Same for each other.
I know, but now I have to tell about you, right? So I think that is the reason I would, call him. What was the English name? Again, I forgot.
Golden Oriole.
Golden Oriole.
I'd have to go back and Google what that is. So, Great Indian Hornbill I knew because I watched a lot of National Geographic, but this one we'll have to go and
Just
Oh, you can see it here as well. Okay.
when you're
So,
coming here,
yeah,
right?
every day we have those.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so we'll,
Very
we'll,
Well,
we'll
beautiful
well,
catch
I,
up.
bird.
I'm
Very.
seeing one right here on the screen. I'm seeing one right here on the screen.
Yeah.
They always come in pair. So, wow. So it's been a crazy timeline in terms of, almost an hour-ish, right? So it's been fascinating to host you. I think this is a great decision, first in introducing you and also introducing Suchak. I think you come together, you come in pairs wherever you're jumping in. Absolutely fascinating, and so many things to take away, so many things to embody, not just to be an Insta doer, do everything that you actually mean to do it, nurture it, living your dreams from 95 to 65. So I always keep on joking that the scene is never 9 to 5. Mostly all of us work from 5 to 9. So
Yeah.
it is an interesting space to see all glimpses of some of your lives in this particular podcast. So thanks, Priyanka. Thanks, Suchak. Thanks, Shrish, for this entire flow. And I think beautifully. I think also thanks to Shiva in the background to being here and blessing us with this beautiful podcast. So
Thank
just
you.
lovely
Thank
to
you.
have in here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.